So now is the most exciting part of the show. We get to spend the next 7 minutes figuring out who's going to play Shadowrun with us. Now, we don't have to base it on gender balance because, as you've noticed with this show, I've had a lot of female guests. Solve that problem. Remember when that was an issue? So now we can just base it on what?
Hey.
Oh, hello.
What's up?
What were you?
Well, I was going to maybe shoehorn a story, but
you were going to shoehorn a story? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm debating whether I want to tell a story, but I feel like it's.
I want you to tell a story.
You have to now, otherwise you're an asshole.
So we just started back to work on Rick and Morty season 3. Hold your applause. Hold your applause. And we hired, for the first time after 2 seasons, all male writing staff. We hired 4 female writers, right? And there's a little bit of an adjustment period. And the other day, do you remember this? Were you in the room? The other day, we were talking, and one of the female writers said, very innocently and very naively, as if she was talking about a furry or someone who has sex with can openers. Like, she goes, oh, what if he's like one of those weird guys who likes to come on women's faces and tits? And there's a long beat, and all of a sudden Justin goes, yeah, those guys are weird. And then his face turned 7 shades redder than that Solo cup. Yeah. And that's when we realized there's some communication that's going to have to be bridged. Yeah. There's some differences in perspective, and... Yeah. That was a funny moment.
It was.
Yeah.
I remember the first day of work, because I've never, there's something interesting about a gender balanced writer's room specifically, because it's like, you don't spend your once you fall in love with a woman, you don't like as a guy, there's never a point where there might be, you don't do a big Q&A about tampons. No. Like you don't go like, how does the applicator work and all this stuff? Like it's kind of something you can get to 42, as I discovered, without really knowing. And it just kind of came, it was just sort of like a field day. I was like, all right, explain that, because we were talking about a story about Summer, like Summer, the possibility of Summer doing a vodka soaked
The possibility.
She's a 17-year-old girl in the show, and it's like we're very hands-on about, because it's easier to do for guy writers with a 14-year-old guy character. It's just like we've shown Morty is very much an authentic 14-year-old boy, like sexually speaking, but Summer is kind of like, she's and I think we were smart to do this and judicious. Like we haven't touched her like intimate side at all. If it's an all-male writer's room, you just shouldn't. I was never going to go there. Like with a 17-year-old girl character, it'll be like, oh, then of course, then she starts humping a pillow.
When you start breaking a sweat when you're talking about story ideas, probably they're not going to get a lot of comedy.
But now we have like half and half. It's like a full representation of everything, so it's nice. It's like started talking about, it'll probably never. It's not like we're going to do an episode about vodka tampons, but. The conversation came up, and then it was like that led to, holy shit, I have 95 questions about tampons, and I got them all answered within 5 minutes. One of them came out, and I was I poked my finger, and the thing came out. Like I was like, now why is the little head shaped like a little penis head? They're like, oh, that's just an accident. That's not.
Imagine all the questions you can ask your sex doll.
Yeah. I mean, we also talk about other stuff, too. It's not why we hired 4 women.
They got good ideas.
And it's not all they wanted to talk about. It was a two-way, it was a collaboration. Uh-huh. But I liked it. I never thought I'd see the day on Rick and Morty. Community, we started out of the gate. We had balance, gender-wise. Mm-hmm. So it was always just that kind of show. Always just felt, because it was a sitcom and it was relatively mainstream. Rick and Morty obviously is like, it's more of a
cult hit.
There's a boyish energy to it. I'm not saying that anyone that's not boyish isn't allowed to watch it. I'm just saying like there's definitely a boyish energy to the show, and there's always been an all male writers room, and I never thought that's very interesting to have some ladies in there.
Talk about tampons.
Well, you brought it up. You wanted to tie. You thought it was so fucking fascinating.
I didn't know you were going to turn into Charlie Rose. Jesus. I never thought that it would be so interesting to see this gender diversity.